headlines for tonight. The Philippine National Police says no reports of security threats were monitored on the first day of Misa de Gallo.
The Philippine Ports Authority expects up to 4.6 million passengers in ports during the holiday season.
The Land Transportation Office summons the driver who assaulted a man pushing a cart.
Former Public Works Undersecretary Maria Catalina Cabral skips the invitation of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure.
And at least 15 people killed in Australia's Bondi Beach shooting. Good evening, bringing you the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN, PELOBELLO.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News. Thread the details on our broadcast. The Holy Masses before Christmas officially started today, with authorities recording no threats to the safety of the people.
Ensuring the welfare of the general public during the Misa de Gallo, the Philippine National Police has deployed around 70,000 personnel nationwide. Henry Nicolas has the report.
On the first day of Misa de Gallo or the Simbang Gabi on December 16, the Philippine National Police stated that they have not yet monitored any security threats against the attendees and the churches across different parts of the country. According to Public Safety Division Chief Police Colonel Julius Domingo, the entire PNP force is on standby to ensure peaceful conditions on the first day of the Misa de Gallo. Domingo said that based on their intelligence, there are no threats to the churches, and due to the agencies currently on heightened alert, the PNP personnel expect an increase in their workload during that time. The Armed Forces of the Philippines will also be a partner in this effort to maintain peaceful and safe communities. According to PNP data, around 70,000 police officers will be deployed in various areas to guard security this holiday season. Meanwhile, amidst the announcement of a 4-day ceasefire by the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army, the PNP assured that the agency will maintain its current security and operational posture. According to PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Randolph Tuanio, the ceasefire will begin at 12 midnight on December 25 and will last until January 1 of the following year. He added that the PNP is set to announce their decision regarding the ceasefire after the leadership meeting scheduled for today. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
With an estimated 4.6 million passengers expected to travel through Philippine ports during the holiday rush until January 5, 2026, the Philippine Ports Authority or PPA is urging shipping line operators to deploy adequate vessels to meet the massive demand. More details on this report.
The Philippine Ports Authority or PPA is now fully prepared for the surge of Filipino travelers expected to pass through ports nationwide this holiday season. According to PPA General Manager J. Daniel Santiago, December 15 marks the first day of the anticipated passenger influx, which is expected to continue until January 5, 2026. Based on PPA projections, ports may accommodate between 250,000 to 350,000 passengers per day as holiday travel reaches its peak. As port gears up for the increased volume of travelers, General Manager Santiago also urged shipping lines operators to deploy an adequate number of vessels to meet transport demand and prevent congestion.
Is na sana as the terminals are well prepared for the influx of passengers, na sana yung ating mga operators ng mga shipping line natin will also meet the demand na dapat mag-deploy na din sila ng karampatan at sapat na dami ng mga barko para sa mga kababayan natin.
PPA likewise advised the public to plan their trip early to avoid delays and inconvenience during the peak travel period.
Kaya plano ng maaga, mamili ng ticket ng maaga, planuhin nila yung biyahe nila ng maaga para maging maayos at maging komportable yung biyahe nila at ng yung kanilang Pasko ay maging masaya at hindi maging parusa.
To ensure passenger safety and security, the PPA has deployed around 3,000 security personnel from the Philippine Coast Guard and the Philippine National Police Maritime Group to guard ports nationwide. This is aside from the security guards and multiplier security personnel of the PPA. Santiago emphasized that during the holiday rush, security personnel assigned to ports are not allowed to file leave or be absent from duty.
At least on the PPA side, full manpower complement tayo sa ating port police and full manpower complement tayo sa force multiplier natin na mga security guards. We're also in coordination with the Philippine Coast Guard and the PNP Maritime Group, and hopefully they will deploy additional people. But as an additional measure, and which we've been doing for the past so many years already, lahat ng frontline personnel natin, operations personnel natin, starting December 15 up to January 5, may leave yan.
The PPA also assured the public that passengers who may become stranded at ports due to weather disturbances will be properly accommodated. Standby food packs from the Department of Social Welfare and Development are also ready for travelers whose trip may be delayed. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The Department of Health has reminded the public about unhealthy food consumption, noting that bad eating habits during the holiday season may cause to various body ailments. Vanessa Cleophas tells us the details.
The Department of Health or DOH has intensified its reminders to the public regarding bad habits that should still be avoided amid the various family, friends, and social celebrations during holiday season. The agency specifically highlighted caution in food consumption, especially the 4 M's, sweet, salty, fatty, and oily foods. These are often cited as a causes of high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. Excessive alcohol consumption is also said to cause accidents on the road, while smoking and vaping indoors can harm one's health. The DOH also reminded the public that lack of sleep can weaken the body, and jokes that insult someone in a joyful family gathering are detrimental to a person's mental health and self-confidence. According to DOH spokesperson and Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo, microaggressions or greetings with insult during reunions are not helpful. Instead, he advised to start a conversations with open-ended questions and avoiding sensitive topics. Meanwhile, based on data from the Department of Health Metro Manila Center for Health Development Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Section in 2024, 50,000 adults aged 20 to 59 in the National Capital Region had hypertension, 16,279 had type 2 diabetes, 110,613 were overweight or obese, 37,936 were binge drinkers, and 25,577 were smokers. This is Vanessa Cleophas for Eurotv News.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR continues its 12 Days of Christmas Commuter Goodwill Program today, December 15, by offering free rides on the MRT3, LRT1, and LRT2 lines for all students, following the thousands of senior citizens who benefited on the program's first day. Catherine Landicho has the report.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR continues to implement its 12 Days of Christmas program, offering free rides on MRT3, LRT1, and LRT2 as part of the holiday season celebrations. Today marks the second day of the program, with students as the beneficiaries of the free rides. To avail of the privilege, passengers only need to present a school ID or a certificate of enrollment registration, which is valid for free train rides throughout the day. According to some passengers, the program is a big help as the money saved from fares can instead be used to buy food or cover other expenses during the Christmas season. On the first day of the program yesterday, a total of 11,985 senior citizens benefited from the free rides on the said train lines. Meanwhile, DOTR Secretary Giovanni Lopez reminded the public that for the scheduled free rides for the LGBTQIA+ community on December 22 is no ID presentations will be required. Community and solo parents will also be entitled to free rides on same day. The 12 Days of Christmas program will conclude on Christmas Day, when all passengers may avail of free rides on MRT3, LRT1, and LRT2. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
With only a week and few days left before Christmas, citizens should not only prepare for the Noche Buena and exchange gift, as mixed movements on oil prices are set this week. In the separate advisories, oil firms announced a slight increase in gasoline prices starting Tuesday, December 16. Gasoline prices will have a 20 centavos per liter increase and is already on its third straight week of price hike. Kerosene and diesel prices are expected to cut costs this week with 20 centavos rollback per liter. The Department of Energy Oil Management Bureau earlier attributed these price movements to the impacts of possible Russia-Ukraine peace talks easing global oil supply. The implementation of these changes will start by 6 a.m. for all oil firms except for the clean fuel that will implement these price movements by 4 p.m. of the same day.
The Land Transportation Office issues a show-cause order against a motorist that assaulted a man pushing a handcart in front of his child, while also imposing a 90-day suspension on the motorist driver's license. More from this report.
The Land Transportation Office has suspended the driver's license of a motorist who assaulted a man pushing a handcart while the latter was accompanied by his minor child. LTO Assistant Secretary Marcos Villacanilo strongly condemned the incident. In a video that circulated on social media, the driver can be seen striking the man on the head in front of his crying child. Following the incident, Assistant Secretary Lacanila ordered the driver of the Toyota Hilux to explain his actions and imposed 90-day suspension on the driver's license. According to the show cause order, the driver is required to submit a notarized written explanation on why his license should not be suspended or revoked. The act was cited as a violation of improper person to operate a motor vehicle. Assistant Secretary Lacanila warned the driver's license may be permanently revoked, and failure to appear at the scheduled LTO Intelligence and Investigation Division hearing will be considered a waiver of the driver's right to be heard. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
Former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary Catalina Cabral was a no-show at the Independent Commission for Infrastructure's final hearing for 2025 regarding alleged budget insertion and kickbacks from flood control projects, while AGA Party List Representative Nicanor Briones and Department of Budget and Management officials presented themselves to face the inquiry. Mia Layagin brings us the details.
On Monday, the Independent Commission for Infrastructure held its last hearing for 2025, summoning former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary Catalina Cabral as the resource person. Executive Director Brian Hosaka said last week that ICI invited Cabral over the Commission's investigation after she was tagged on the issue of alleged budget insertions and kickbacks from flood control projects. Cabral have faced the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee's own probe several times, where she denied the said allegations before resigning from the post last September. Presently, despite invitation, Cabral was no-show on ICI's Monday hearing. Hosaka noted that the Commission did not receive any confirmation on Cabral's appearance nor a reason for her absence on ICI's probe. It can be recalled that last September 24, Cabral already faced the ICI, but this new invitation is regarding matters verified from the former DPWH Undersecretary. Amid the allegations, Cabral was recommended to be charged with administrative cases over violation of Code of Conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees in relation to infrastructure irregularities, including the 95.04 million pesos flood control projects in Bukawi, Bulacan. Based on ICI's earlier advisory, Cabral is the only resource person invited over the Monday hearing. While she snubbed the invitation, AGA Party List Representative Nicanor Briones and some officials of the Department of Budget and Management presented themselves before the ICI still in relation to the flood control mess. Briones was earlier tagged by government contractors Sara and Curly Discaya in the flood control anomaly. During the hearing, Briones requested for an executive session, also refusing inquiries from the media. His lawyer, meanwhile, represented him before the media, noting that Briones denied before the ICI the allegations of the Discayas. On the other hand, some DBM officials, including Acting Secretary Rolando Toledo, Director Andrea Silin Magtalas, Undersecretary Janet Abuel, and Assistant Secretary Mary Ann de la Vega attended ICI's afternoon session. As Toledo once again faces ICI, the Commission sought to clarify the process and possible knowledge of DBM over budget amendments and insertions. Toledo also affirmed the earlier statements of former Secretary Amena Pangandaman that DBM has no knowledge and rule over the amendment process within the legislative branch.
We have to take a look at that enrolled bill just to look at the differences of the NEP and the GAA, or what we call the enrolled bill, so that we will know how to respond if there are any changes, and even the veto if there are any items that should be vetoed. That is the only time that we have to look at that. We can see the difference between the NEP and the GAA, or the enrolled bill.
This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
The Foreign Affairs Department has filed a démarche against China on Monday over the most recently harassment made by China Coast Guard. The incident caused injuries to Filipino fishermen and damaged fishing boat. Here's the details. 3 Filipino fishermen suffered injuries and bruises after the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessel harassed, blocked, and water cannoned the Filipino fishing boat within the vicinity of the Escoda Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. 2 Filipino fishing boats were also damaged due to the strong pressure of water cannon from the Chinese ships, which occurred on Friday. According to PCG, or Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariala, the Philippines will remain in its mandate to protect Filipino fishermen and maintain safety in the West Philippine Sea. The PCG also called on China to comply with international law and prioritizes the safety of innocent fishermen. Allied countries of the Philippines have expressed concern and strongly condemned the repeated harassment of Chinese ships in the West Philippine Sea. According to Canada, Australia, and United States, China should respect international law, particularly the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and stop any kind of illegal action that disrupts stability and peace in the region. According to Filipinos Do Not Yield Movement Chairman Emeritus Dr. Jose Antonio Guisha, what Chinese ships are doing in the country's territory cannot be called as harassment, but it is intentional aggression. The group also said that Beijing has clearly violated the rights of fishermen in the waters covered by the country's exclusive economic zone based on the 2016 arbitration award. In a statement released in its embassy in Manila, the CCG only took necessary action, including verbal warnings to Filipino fishing boats. China continues to claim Nansha Kwando, including Jianbinjian, as an adjacent waters of Beijing. The National Maritime Council is concerned about the claims of Beijing, saying it was just a use of necessary control measures. NMC says it is deeply troubling. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, has filed a démarche with the Chinese embassy today. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo S. Bronner Jr. presided over the change of command and retirement ceremony for the Joint Special Operations Command at Camp Aguinaldo, welcoming Brigadier General Rosendo C. Abad Jr. to take over the newly activated unit from its first commander. Henry Nicolas reports.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner led the change of command and retirement ceremony of the Special Operations Command, or JSOC, which was formerly the Joint Operation or Special Operations Group in Camp Aguinaldo. The JSOC is the newly activated command established in May 2025 to institutionalize jointness and enhance the AFP's operational readiness amid evolving security challenges. Brigadier General Rosendo Abad Jr. of the Philippine Army will replace the unit's first commander, Brigadier General Eli Glenn Villaflor of the Philippine Army. Bronner emphasized the importance of the leadership transition in consolidating JSOC's foundation as a newly activated command established in May to institutionalize jointness and enhance the AFP's operational readiness amid evolving security challenges. Under Villaflor's leadership, JSOC, formerly JSOG, supported internal defense and security operations and contributed to both internal and external security efforts. From 2022 to 2025, the command conducted 52 joint operations that led to the neutralization of high-value targets and the recovery of firearms, explosive, and critical equipment. Bronner commended Brigadier General Villaflor for contributions to the AFP and welcomed Brigadier General Abad, citing his extensive experience in special operations and leadership within the Special Forces. Bronner expressed confidence that JSOC will continue to strengthen joint interoperability and advance the AFP's defense and security posture under his command. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
Almost 500,000 illicit vape products were destroyed by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. According to the tax agency, the destroyed illegal products has a legal obligation of at least 1.3 billion pesos. Vanessa Cleofas returns.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR led the national destruction of 450,000 units of illicit vape products were marked and destroyed today by the BIR with tax liabilities amounting to at least 1.3 billion pesos. These were seized in various operations conducted by the agency throughout the year. The largest number of confiscations in 2025 reportedly came from distributors, seller and e-commerce platforms based in Metro Manila, followed by Caloocan and other regions. According to BIR Commissioner Charlito Martin Mendoza, all of these products were confirmed to have no excise tax stamp and were not registered with the agency, which means they are illegal, untaxed, and did not go through the proper process. Mendoza added that the BIR will further intensify its operations to stop illegal sellers, not just of vapes, but of all products.
So sa mga darating na araw, makakaasa po kayo na paiigtingin pa natin ang ating enforcement operations laban sa mga nagbebenta at distributor ng mga illicit products na ito. Hindi lamang po ng mga vapes but even other products na hindi dumaan sa tamang proseso, hindi dumaan sa tamang regulasyon at hindi nagbayad ng tamang buwis. Hindi talaga kinakailangang tantanan, dapat sunod-sunod at intensified at consistent ang enforcement operations natin. Kaya you can rest assured that in the coming days, we will further intensify our enforcement operations kasi kung merong gap, merong hiatus sa enforcement, bumabalik sila. Kaya kinakailangan hindi talaga natin tantanan ito at mas intensified para tuluyan ng mawala sa market.
The BIR also emphasized that sin tax collection from vapes, cigarettes, and other products play a significant role as this revenue are used to support the government's health programs. Individuals and businesses found to be involved in the sale of illicit vape products will face various administrative cases.
Well, meron silang criminal and administrative liability for this. So yung mga distributors na nagdi-distribute nito, makakansela ang kanilang registration and even ang kanilang permit to operate business. And at the same time, may criminal liability din ito. Kaya may mga pending cases tayo na nakasampa sa korte at meron pang iba na undergoing case build-up na isasampa din natin. Well, tuloy-tuloy naman po ang pagpa-file natin ng kaso. Hindi nga lamang meron po tayong mga pending cases na against those entities, against those persons na involved dito sa mga illegal or seized illicit vape products na ito. May mga nakapending na po sa korte at meron pang undergoing case build-up ng mga kawani ng Bureau of Internal Revenue.
Meanwhile, according to the BIR, the total seized vape products amount to 750 units, equivalent to 2.7 billion pesos in tax liabilities. All of these are scheduled for destruction in the coming days, including the 450,000 units destroyed today. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Few weeks before 2026, the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System has announced the looming increase to water rates. Catherine Landicho tells us the details.
Customers of Manila Water Services Incorporation and Manila Water Company Incorporation should expect an increase in water rates beginning January 2026. This was confirmed by Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System Chief Regulator Patrick T. following the implementation of the rate rebasing adjustment that were approved back in 2023. According to the MWSS, the adjustment include updated charges intended to cover operational costs, maintenance, and infrastructure projects of the two water concessionaires. The agency clarified that approval of the rate increase underwent thorough review and public consultation. The MWSS added that the move aims to ensure a continuous and reliable water supply as well as improved services for consumers in Metro Manila and nearby areas. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
In a hot pursuit operation conducted by the Philippine National Police Region 3, a suspect from a homicide case has been apprehended by the authorities. The full details on Shai Morales' report.
The authorities have arrested a suspect over the charges of frustrated homicide during a hot pursuit operation in Barangay San Pablo, Malolos City, Bulacan on Sunday, December 14. According to the police report, the suspect, identified as Elias Howard, a resident of Cayubiga in the said barangay in Malolos, was arrested at around 9 p.m. The suspect was apprehended following a stabbing incident. Authorities stated that the incident was rooted in a heated argument between the suspect and the victim, along with the victim's sibling, which later escalated into a physical altercation. During the confrontation, the suspect allegedly drew a knife and stabbed the victim on the left side of the abdomen. The victim was immediately rushed to a nearby hospital for a medical treatment. The suspect initially managed to escape the scene, but was later arrested by the authorities during a hot pursuit operation. The suspect is now under police custody and will face appropriate charges filed against him. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
At least 15 people were killed after a father and son allegedly opened fire on a crowd gathered for a Jewish event in Sydney, Australia's Bondi Beach. Son Santiago has the report.
At least 15 people were dead after a mass shooting took place in Sydney, Australia's Bondi Beach on Sunday. The attack happened during the first day of a Jewish Hanukkah event where around 1,000 people had gathered. The shooting reportedly lasted about 10 minutes with at least 40 people also injured. Victims range in age from as young as 10 to as old as 87. One of the victims is a 43-year-old fruit shop owner who has been hailed as a hero after a viral video showed him tackling and disarming one of the gunmen. He was currently in the hospital after getting bullet wounds. The alleged attackers were a father and son according to reports. The 50-year-old father was killed while his 24-year-old son is in critical condition after police confrontation. Australian police believe the attack was targeted and motivated by anti-Semitism. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese condemned the violence and urged Australians to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community.
This was an attack deliberately targeted at the Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah, which of course should be a joyous celebration, and the Jewish community are hurting today. Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge and we will eradicate it together.
However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed the Australian government for their inaction toward anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews.
On the other hand, the Philippine Consulate General in Sydney and the Department of Foreign Affairs reported it has not received any reports of Filipinos affected and killed by the attack. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
One of the legends in the world of wrestling has announced his retirement from the career as John Cena made his final bow in front of thousands of fans. Kyle Basa tells us more.
17-time WWE World Champion John Cena retired yesterday, December 14. His retirement was followed up by a final matchup against Gunther in which he lost. It was an intense match and resulted in a bittersweet ending, whereas Cena tapped out on Gunther's sleeper hold. It turned out to be an emotional event as the 48-year-old ended his reign of almost 30 years of dominance. Former teammates, rivals, and even fans gave respect to him when he exited the ring. His antics will surely be missed, especially his special moves like the flying shoulder block, attitude adjustment, and the most popular one, the "you can't see me" move. With his retirement, he is already considered as one of the greats, not just skill-wise, but for his influence as well. This is Kyle Basa, reporting for Eurotv News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit Eurotv.com for more news and information. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez.
You can also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via an Extreme channel. I'm ALVIN. Thanks for joining us. This is Eurotv News Thread. Stay safe. Have a good night, everyone.